I've only just realized that I completely forgot to update you on my diaphragmatic endometriosis. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to get into shoulder tip pain, digestive issues, nosebleeds, my surgery, and post-op MRI. I had stage 4 endometriosis, which was finally treated with excision surgery in March last year, 9 years after diagnosis, and said surgery included the excision of diaphragmatic endometriosis. Now, before I begin, I just have to say that I feel so fortunate to have been able to access private healthcare and as a result have my diaphragm treated laparascopically, knowing full well that there are many women out there with worse cases of diaphragmatic endometriosis who are heavily symptomatic and yet are unable to receive the urgent treatment that they so desperately need. It honestly weighs so heavy on my heart, and so there isn't a day that goes by that I don't feel gratitude for the privilege of having been able to access such specialized care. So, before my surgery, the most common reoccurring symptom that I was experiencing was shoulder tip pain. It would occur every period without fail, starting as a dull ache in my right shoulder, gradually increasing in intensity over time, sometimes bouncing from right to left and other times going up my neck. It was awful. That's when I knew without a doubt that I had diaphragmatic endometriosis, which a subsequent MRI that I had via my private consultant proved so, detecting multiple spots of endo on my right diaphragm and a spot at the back of my diaphragm. Prior to the shoulder tip pain, I would have digestive symptoms with my period in my upper abdomen, so extreme bloating, acid reflux, pain with digestion, burping with meals. This I managed to tame with anti-inflammatory foods. On top of that, I'd also experienced bouts of rib pain and breathlessness on occasion. And something more uncommon, well at least it seems to be, cyclical nosebleeds, typically occurring around ovulation. This would happen intermittently, not at every cycle. So I have my surgery in March last year, full excision of my pelvic endometriosis and excision of my diaphragmatic endometriosis on the underside of my diaphragm, which can be accessed laparoscopically with the right specialists. What's my situation post-op? I no longer have shoulder tip pain. Yep, it feels like a miracle because that wasn't always the case. Aha! I was having shoulder tip pain with my period post-op. Not in the same way, not as much and not as intense, but it was still happening until December last year, around Christmas time actually. So when I was experiencing the shoulder tip pain after surgery, I was thinking to myself, why God, why? Is this shoulder tip pain my diaphragm healing after surgery? Because internal healing takes approximately 6 months. Or is it being caused by the lesion that couldn't be reached at the back of my diaphragm? That lesion, I was told, could only be accessed with VATS, video-assisted thoracic surgery. I chose to believe the former, and every time my period would come, I would pray that I wouldn't get shoulder tip pain. The period I forgot to pray, it stopped, and thank God it hasn't returned. Now, let's circle back to the MRI I had 8 months post-op. The MRI didn't detect any diaphragmatic endometriosis. Phew! Major relief. That was until my consultant said that typically speaking, MRI picks up on diaphragmatic endometriosis in only 20% of the cases. So yeah, there's that. And the fact that endometriosis was actually seen at the back of my diaphragm during surgery, but it couldn't be treated because of restricted access, which in my mind has gone. You might think I'm cuckoo, but after my surgery, I would occasionally go to church with my sister when it was empty, and I would say to her, can you rub some holy water on my back where my diaphragm is, where I believe the lesion to have been, the lesion that couldn't be treated? So I'm holding on to the belief that I need no longer be concerned about it, at least for now. I think that wraps it up. Oh wait, apart from the nosebleeds, I've had a bloody nose as opposed to a nosebleed on a few occasions post-op. It happens like 4 days before my period's due, which is nothing like how it was before my surgery when it was occurring around ovulation. I'm not sure what to think about that. No one has been able to give me an explanation for it. Some have said it could be thoracic endometriosis, some have said it could just be hormonal. There's also the fact that I used to suffer with nosebleeds as a child. Or maybe I have endo in my nose. Who bloody knows?